Have you ever felt like you're in a constant battle with your own mind? Well, what if I told you that the brain you're using to get through the 21st century is actually an ancient piece of hardware? Seriously, it was sculpted over millions of years for a world that frankly just doesn't exist anymore. Okay, let's get into this. I mean, it's a question we all ask ourselves, right? Why do we feel so anxious, so distracted, so completely overwhelmed all the time? Well, it turns out a huge part of the answer isn't about our circumstances, it's about our ancient biology trying to make sense of a totally alien environment.
This quote from neuroscience just nails it. Our brain, the very thing running the show up there, evolved to survive on the savannah. It didn't evolve for scrolling through social media or sitting in back-to-back Zoom calls. And that simple fact is the source of so much of our modern stress.
So let's start with the most basic programming of all, survival. These are the instincts that literally kept our species alive. But in our world today, they're often stuck in overdrive, getting triggered by things that aren't actually life or death situations. Just look at this. On the left, a saber-toothed tiger, a legitimate I'm about to be eaten threat. On the right, a stressful email from your boss. Now, here's the crazy part. To your ancient brain, there's surprisingly little difference between the two. That email can trigger the exact same panic button. So here's what's happening under the hood. That email hits your inbox and your amygdala, your brain's little threat detector, goes on high alert. It starts flooding your body with the stress hormone cortisol, getting you ready to either fight the email or run away from it. This system is perfectly designed for a short, intense, physical danger that you can escape. But modern stress, it's often chronic, it's psychological, and it leaves that ancient alarm bell ringing and ringing and ringing. And this mismatch isn't just about stress. It's also about another core survival need, food. For almost all of human history, calories were hard to come by. Our brains evolved in a world where you never knew where your next meal was coming from. And today, we live in the exact opposite reality. And this is why that bag of potato chips is so hard to resist. Your brain's reward system, which runs on dopamine, is hardwired to go crazy for high-calorie foods. Because for our ancestors, finding fat and sugar meant survival. Your brain still acts like a famine is just around the corner. Ultra-processed foods are basically engineered to perfectly hijack that ancient circuit. So please, hear this. That craving is not a lack of willpower. It is a biological mismatch. Okay, so it's not just our survival instincts that are getting scrambled. It's our social wiring, too. You see, we evolved to live and thrive in small, tight-knit groups. Now we're trying to navigate a global village of billions, mostly through a glowing screen. This number right here is so important. It's called Dunbar's number. An anthropologist named Robin Dunbar figured out that our brains can really only handle stable social relationships with about 150 people. That's our cognitive limit. Now think about that for a second. How many friends or followers do you have online? Our ancestors lived in these small, deeply connected tribes. Your social life was right there, face to face. Today, our networks are huge, they're fragmented, and they're almost entirely digital. We are bombarded with thousands of social signals a day, way more than our brains were ever built to handle. And the fallout from this is pretty profound. It's why we can feel so lonely even when we're constantly connected. It's because a like or a comment only gives a tiny little hit to the brain circuits that evolved for real, physical face-to-face bonding. And because getting kicked out of the tribe meant certain death for our ancestors, something as small as an ignored post online can trigger that same deep, ancient fear of rejection. All right, let's shift gears and talk about how our brain thinks. To deal with a complicated and dangerous world, it developed a bunch of mental shortcuts. And these shortcuts were absolutely brilliant for making quick survival decisions, but they can get us into real trouble in today's complex, information-drenched world. First off, why do we even have these shortcuts? Well, because your brain is an energy hog. It's only about 2% of your body's weight, but it burns through a whopping 20% of your daily calories. So evolution baked in a powerful drive to be efficient, to take the easy mental path whenever possible. And that, right there, is all a cognitive bias really is. We hear that term and we think it's a flaw, right? A bug in our thinking. But it's not. It's a feature. It's an energy-saving tool that let our ancestors make fast, good enough decisions when a split second could mean the difference between life and death. So for example, loss aversion, that feeling where losing $20 hurts way more than finding $20 feels good, that made a ton of sense when losing your food supply could kill you. Or in-group bias, favoring your own people, that helped hold the tribe together. But today, these same shortcuts can lead to terrible financial choices and deep social divisions. I just want to pause here because this is so incredibly important. The weird quirks of your mind, your biases, your irrational fears, your cravings, they are not mistakes. They're the echoes of what it took for our species to make it this far. They are features, not bugs, of an ancient operating system. Okay, so the million-dollar question, what in the world do we do about all this? It's not like we can get a brain transplant. The key is not to fight our ancient wiring, but to finally understand it and learn how to navigate it in this crazy modern world. If you take only one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Your struggles with distraction, anxiety, or junk food are not a sign that you are weak or broken. They are a sign that you are a perfectly adapted human for a world that ceased to exist thousands of years ago. It is a mismatch, not a defect. So here's a simple game plan, a new operating manual for your mind. Step 1, just acknowledge it. Accept the reality of your ancient brain. Step 2, start to notice the triggers. What in your modern life is setting off those ancient alarms? Your phone notifications, the snack aisle at the grocery store? And step 3, start consciously building an environment that works with your brain instead of constantly fighting against it. And this quote just sums it all up. The solution isn't about having more willpower or hacking your brain. It's about more self-awareness. It's about understanding the machine you're working with and then creating a world for yourself where that machine can actually thrive. Think about it. Our environment has transformed more in the last 100 years than in the previous 100,000. We've created a world of unbelievable wonders, but also unbelievable pressures that our ancestors could never have dreamed of. And the real challenge for all of us, moving forward, is learning how to bridge that massive gap between our ancient minds and our modern world.